in the mountain, my mindset games, I have few hacks that I use them. So on days I'm extremely exhausted, I'm in pain, I'm tired, my body is very weak on some days, but I need to keep on going. There is no stopping. And my brain would tend to start saying, oh, خلاص, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore. But I've built that mindset of there's no turning back. Like, no. And I realized that my body is not tired. It's my mind that is tired. And when I split between both and I realize it's my mind that's being weak right now, not my body, I keep on pushing.
How's Tima is taking care of her health outside of the mountains? I would say on a daily basis as a lifestyle.
Look, I have a very balanced lifestyle. I enjoy eating burgers and pizzas, but I don't enjoy eating them every day. Like once a month, maybe, I don't know. And that's, I'm not a big junk eater, for example, if we're talking about food. Working out is something that's very important to me. But I do have, just like any other humans, weeks where I don't work out. Because, for example, I'm in Dubai, I'm literally back to back from when I wake up until I'm back home, and then I need to finish stuff on my laptop till 12. So time, like, it's an opportunity cost, and I'm not here all the time.
Yeah.
So I can't work out, and I need to accept it. Before that, I used to beat myself up, and no, I didn't work out today.
Feel the guilt.
My muscles, my endurance, everything is gone. I reached to a point where, okay, I will work out. I do have a program. I know when I go back, for example, to Geneva now, what I'm going to do, and I prepared. So it's a very balanced lifestyle. I do not beat myself up. I don't go extreme with my food. I don't go extreme with my training. I keep it balanced. Of course, if I'm preparing for a trip, I start working out towards the trip. So I'm a lot into the heart rate zone. I work on my base. I build a very, very strong base. So I've been climbing for a while. I always say my body is made for the mountains, because that's what it feels like.
True.
Yeah, and even if I haven't trained in a while and you put me on a trail to go do an 8 to 12 hours hike, I'll be completely fine. And like my body it's a muscle memory. But obviously you have to train it. But
True.
sometimes even if you don't train it, it comes back. And this is why I do not panic when I don't train. But again, so I start with training on I take my average heart rate. You do the test when you're running.
True.
And I train very low, so you would never see me on
then
normal
zone
day.
2 is the ideal,
Exactly.
basically.
Like I'm pulling a truck ولا a wheel, and like I'm sweating and I can't breathe. No, I need a healthy heart.
True.
So I build my base, and before the trip, I start adding high intensity where I work on a 140, 145 and down, and it has worked perfectly for me. That's why I can go like for 14 hours on the mountain. On, and my body can make it because it's been trained to do that. It has a strong base.
Amazing.
So that's the 20% of the training.
I was going to tell you that because I want to see basically how you manage your mindset, or basically the mental toughness. I wouldn't say mental toughness. It has a negative connotation, but of course, we discussed this even before the podcast, how the mind is 80%. Actually, I give it more sometimes. How you manage this, of course, in the expeditions or in your life. It's how you look into it.
As I grow and as I practice and as I get more experience, I can realize the difference with my mindset. We always tend to go back to default in a specific situation. If something hits the fan, at the moment, how you react says it all, right? And it's all about the reflex, the reaction. You don't wanna react. You wanna have a neutral state where you're solution-based. And this is what the mountains have been teaching me. So if you talk to me in 2016 when I first started, I'm still an impulsive person. I'm still someone, if I put something into my mind, I will get to it. But I will get to it even if I'm going to hurt myself along the way, along the journey, and hurt other people and say things and do things. And if a problem happens, I'm like so into the problem, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious. Those things started going away, one, with therapy. I do therapy, and I only started, I think, a year ago.
Okay.
And strictly once a week at least, to, one, work on your childhood trauma, because we all have childhood trauma. And two, to become the best version of yourself. Because you start realizing where are these thoughts and actions are really coming from. Because sometimes we might be talking about a problem here, but if you dig deeper, there's a big problem that happened way, in the past, and you don't even know about it. So your subconscious is acting upon it. So therapy is very important. Two, Practice. So in the mountain, my mindset games, I have few hacks that I use them. So on days I'm extremely exhausted, I'm in pain, I'm tired, my body is very weak on some days, but I need to keep on going. There's no stopping. And my brain would tend to start saying, oh, خلاص, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore. But I've built that mindset of there's no turning back. Like, no. And I realized that my body is not tired. It's my mind that is tired. And when I split between both and I realize it's my mind that's being weak right now, not my body, I keep on pushing. I do one step at a time. So on the mountain, I see a rock and I'm like, let's count my steps to that rock. And then we'll reconsider how tired I am. Because if I make it there, it means I'm not as tired. And it's a mind game. You keep on pushing. And then another rock. And this is where I differentiate between the long-term and the short-term goals. So I don't look at the summit, although it's so tempting. We all want to reach our goals. Our goals or our vision is the most exciting thing in our journey, right? Because I want to get there. But we tend to lose focus in the process and we're not enjoying the journey. And when you start looking at the short-term goals, like the next step, the next ladder, the overcoming this crevasse, it becomes fun and it becomes easier. It doesn't look as tall, it doesn't look as hard, it's not as cold anymore because you're here now. So short-term goals instead of long-term goals. I'm thinking of all the mind hacks I do. I talk to myself instead of listening to myself. I'm very big on this. At the beginning, it felt like I'm crazy. But then you start realizing, no, it's working. No, it's a whole conversation.
True.
If I'm my best friend, and I see my best friend is fine, but I see that they are covered with anxiety and they're overwhelmed with all those negative feelings and they can't get out. You just need to clear that space and you talk to them.
True.
So I thought خلاص, we can do it. I know you're tired. For example, on the South Pole, we take a break for 12 minutes between every hour. And it's 8 hours. And every time we take a break, my fingers are just frozen. I don't even take out my gloves.
Yeah.
But I have...
The blood flow.
Exactly. So my fingers, my toes, and my nose, just frozen.
The extremities.
Exactly. And it hurts. I can't bend my fingers sometimes. And I need to eat, I need to drink, I need to rehydrate. So I just deal with it at the moment. And I try to take my gloves off, do some stuff, put them back on. And then I have my mittens on. And above those mittens, I put them, there's this thing in the South Pole where you put on your ski poles that it goes in. Yeah. Because it's extremely cold. It's minus 55. It's
the most difficult part, just to put it back.
Exactly. And my teeth, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I don't.
Put it with the string. It's annoying.
So the first day was hard. I'm like, okay, you need to suck it up. But there must be a way that we can figure this thing out. Second day, I'm like, okay, let me calculate. So I was playing some music and I'll put 3 songs to 4. So those are 15 minutes because you lose track of time.
Exactly.
So it took me 3 to 4 songs to warm down my hands. So, okay. Every day, every time we ski, every break, I know they're going to get cold. And now I'm ready. Okay, yalla, I was going to get cold now. And now we're going to get up. I'm like, okay, let's wait. Just ski for 15 minutes because it will go back to being warm.
Exactly.
And now I trusted the process and it was getting warm every time and 15 minutes. And then I'm like, what if I convinced myself it can come down in 5 to 10 minutes? Maybe that would have been faster.
Mind over matter.
Exactly. Literally mind over matter. So...
I didn't see it. Oh my God. It's because it's crazy.
So it works. So that's why I like the mountains and you can test these things in other environments. But you need to be aware that you're testing them because I'm very much into growth mindset and I've done a coaching course for a while and I coached other people and I was learning from that, and that's how I'm developing my workshop through growth mindset. In situations I say, okay, right now I'm having a fixed mindset. What would my growth mindset do instead? And all the solutions starts coming up. I realize I have so many options because I'm solution based now. I know everything has a solution. I'm ready to learn something new. I'm ready to try something new. So on the mountain, these things are maybe faster to learn.
I would say natural
and faster لأنه it's a life and death thing.
Absolutely.
And you need to survive and you need to quickly find solutions.
That's the interesting part because we are conditioned in a different way and we're not living, I would say, the natural way where you have to be on the survival mode and you pick up on things. All what you mentioned basically are amazing hacks that can be applied on real life.
Yeah.
But the funny part about basically how you set the target and you look into it, I met an amazing guy. He's a veteran mountaineer in Latin America and Argentina. He's Brazilian. And out of fun during the recovery in the camp, I was telling him, give me the best advice you can give me now. And he told me, don't think about the summit. Exactly what you mentioned. And the second tip, bring a newspaper with you to do your number 2 on the...
It's like, it's not on my neck.
For me, I prefer the second one because logistically it's the best thing you can do on the mountain. And I remember we laughed about this when you posted something, basically the typical question, where do you do it?
Yeah.
And I know it's a challenge.
It is, and for us women, it's even.
I know,
because
I fully respect.
our gear, our clothes are not made like it's not accessible.
I know. That's why this is basically one of the tips or skills that we as men we have the pee bottle that you can keep it.
But we can use pee bottle.
Yeah, but logistically it's more practical for the guys. And this funny part that on the second day when you wake up and temperature is like becomes an ice cream.
Exactly.
Don't use as ice cream. You have to put label to make sure that no one is by mistake use it. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'm really grateful for the messages I'm receiving. I will definitely do my best to improve on the show. And special thanks to my son, 13 years old son. He's helping me now in the podcast production, on the video podcast. And you can follow us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and YouTube, where you can share, like, comment, and on superhumanswitchpodcast.com. Get your switch on. Tima, it's really a pleasure to have you here. It will not be the last conversation, by the way. We'll stay in touch for sure.
Saf, you're such a great host. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, dear. Take care.
You too.
Peace.